Hi guys. Well, I hope someone is there. Welcome to the first live. Let's wait for other people to come online so we can get started. So we'll wait for people to join us. Um, so we'll be waiting for other people to join us. Let's wait for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes, and we're going to be starting so that other people can join us. Okay, so if you're watching this video later, you can just leave a comment so we can know the numbers that we're working with. And if you're watching live too, you can also leave a comment. Um, let's wait for others to join. Um, well, in Nigeria over here, it's 6 o'clock, so 10 minutes after 6, we're going to start. So, for those of you just joining us, please you can leave a comment. Let's know. Okay. Hi Jerry, how are you?
Very fine, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Jerry. I hope you had a very nice weekend.
Evening, sir.
Okay, so we are waiting for others to join. Anybody that wants to join as a guest, the link is available, so you can just join using the link. I can only feature 6 people at the same time, so please bear with me. Um, Hello, Charles. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. So we are waiting for other people. Please, if you're in a noisy place, you have to just go far away from the noise.
All right, sir.
Um, Abdul Rahman, in the current comment section, you said the screen is kind of blur. I think it's your network. Oh. Jerry, is the screen blur on your end?
No, it is not from here.
Abdul Rahman, I think you need to work on
It's
it.
not
Okay,
blur here. Oh.
is your network? I think it's your network. I think it's your network. I think it's your network. We'll just wait till 10 minutes after 6, then we'll start. So the reason why I made provision for people to join as a guest is if you have any comments, any questions, you can just drop it. It's the reason why I said people should join as guests. So the first six people to come in, that's your luck. By the way, I'm using Jupyter Notebook. If you want to use VS Code for this, it works fine. It works fine as well. But I'll be using Jupyter Notebook for this. So still waiting for others. I want us to be done in latest 40 minutes, 40 minutes or even 30 minutes if possible. So let's just wait till 6 till 10 minutes after 6. Mm, this streaming came as an impromptu stuff. I just came on the group and I was like, I feel the need to hold the stream. So because I know that some of you might have questions you want to ask and all that. So please bring your questions, bring all of them. At least if I can't answer, Charles will answer some of them and Jerry will answer some too. Oh my god. No worry. God pass everything.
Sure, yes, sir.
Hmm. We have just 3 minutes to go. Mm, just by 6:10 we are out of here. So Jerry, how has the course been so far? Like how has the course been so far?
Sincerely, it has been wonderful, and I've been taking it, should I say,
Bit
gradually,
by
but
bit.
bit by bit. But the only challenge at this moment is that currently I'm writing exams, so I'm just hoping that by next week when I'm done, then I'll catch up with some of the things I've not done this week.
Okay, okay. I intentionally split the workload into. I mean, too, I work and I go to school. I just finished from Unilag, so I
Yes,
know
yes, that's
how
true.
tasky school can be. So it's one of the
Yeah,
reasons why I have to partition everything. So we
guy, they
come
break.
this is the weekly task and the projects and all that. So
Yeah,
we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
guy, is they break the way you broke it down and everything is actually making it a lot easier.
Wow, wow, that's good to hear. That's good to
Mm,
hear.
thank you
Charles, how
very
far
much.
you? How's the course been
It's
so far?
been it's been awesome, sir. Like everything, everything has been working out fine.
Okay, okay. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. One of my drive to work is knowing that people are actually making progress as a result of my efforts. So I like to hear stuff like that. Um, I think at this juncture, there's no stopping us now. We gotta move. Okay. Um. So let's get to it. Um. Let me copy what I said we were going to do so I know exactly what to follow. Like I said, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I want us to be out of here. I want us to be out of here. So now, this is what I said we were going to be treating. We're going to be treating comments, variables, data types. I believe you can see my screen.
Very well, sir.
Okay, so um, okay. Now, the first thing you want to talk about while coding, most people used to ignore this part, is comments. Comments. Comments, very, very important. Comment is a way for you to label your code, basically. A way for you to make take notes. A way for you to say this is what is happening here and this is what is happening here. From this line to this line, this is what we are trying to achieve. This function, this is what it's supposed to do, and all that. Nobody will pay you millions of naira without you having the ability to properly comment your code. Hi, cleverly, you're welcome. So now, a comment. Let's go into it. So, oh, they printed it out. Let me take our faces out of this thing so we will be able to see this thing more clearly. Um, let me do something like this. Okay, I think this one is better. So, talking about Python comments. So, and I'll make this Jupyter notebook file available for everybody. So even after now, you can go and learn with it. So Python comments, like I said, is a way you can use to label your code. For example, if I want to write a function that is going to square a number, I can say def. You have not reached this part. I'm just trying to explain comments. Say square. No, square. So then I'll say number, then return number raised to the power of 2. Then I can say print square. No. I can just say print, yes, square of, say, 7. If I should run this code now, it is giving me 49. But you guys are beginners. You understand? I've not taught you what def is. What is happening here to many of you at this level that you're learning now is going to be magic. But for me to make this code more understandable for you, I bring in my comments. Now, in this def over here, this is a function definition. And the name of the function, the name of the function is square. And the function accepts a parameter of the number to be squared. Okay, so you see this thing I did over here now. I wrote a function, then after writing my function, what is happening over here is called function call. Okay, so this is where I'm defining the function. This is where I'm calling the function. I think sometime in your third or fourth week, you're going to be doing stuff like this. You're going to be writing your functions, you're going to be calling them and all that. So you can see the way I used this comment to describe this code that I just wrote, just using comments to label and to describe the code, making it more readable, making it more understandable, and making any random person that is coming that have not seen code before, immediately they see this code, they will know that okay, this is what is happening, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. Now, one thing you should note is that the Python interpreter automatically is going to be ignoring all these comments while interpreting the code. The Python interpreter is going to be interpreting all these comments while it is trying to interpret. Okay, so now you can see the point where I did the function definition and the function call. So this is how you use comments to basically label your code, to describe your code. You understand? So to make it more readable, make it more comprehensible, and that is just it basically. Also, another thing you use comments for is if there's a particular line of code that you don't want to be executed, you can use comments to like take that line out temporarily. I will show you what I mean. For example, if I print square of 7 and I also print square of 9, I should run the two of them. You see that I'm getting 49 and I'm getting 81. 49 and 81. But if I want only one of these two to execute and I don't want to delete it, all I can do is I can just bring in my comments. And if I should run this again, you see, I'm getting 81. So I've shown you two things you can use comments to do in programming. You can use comments to label your code. You can also use comments to verify to like temporarily stop some particular lines of code from executing. Those are the two basic
Yes.
two major things you can use comments for. So if you have any question, please throw it at me right now. If you're in the comments and you have any questions, please let me know so we can move on from comments. Charles, any question? Jerry, any question? Let me know so we can just move forward from comments.
So it's very clear, sir.
It's very clear.
No question
Yes, sir.
yet. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
For now.
So, well, it's said for now. Don't worry. I get where you're coming from. Like I said, learning
All
tech
right.
is very boring. So you will still encounter those problems where you won't be able to fix it because you replaced single equals to with double equals to. You will get there. Don't worry. So, moving forward,
Sorry.
the next thing we want to discuss is we want to discuss what's the second one? Variables. Okay. So Python variables. Python variables. Okay. So this is going to be a markdown. Python variables. Now, like I said in the tutorial, it is a very very big misconception that a variable is what is holding data. It is very very wrong. I will give you an illustration. For example, a house and an address. You understand? We have a house and we have an address that links to the house. You cannot refer to the house as the address, neither can you refer to the address as the house. Both of them are separate entities on their own. One has connection to the other one. You understand? So, a variable is the name given to the memory location where you store data. You understand? A name is what you give to the memory location where you store data. Example, for you to be able to watch a movie on your phone, the movie has to be downloaded to your phone or the movie will be available somewhere on the internet so you stream it. For example, this live streaming that we are doing now, it is available on the internet. You go to the internet, you stream. It is not available on your device, but there is a way you can have access to it. You understand? Now, the part to which you can view this live stream, if I show you the back end of YouTube, you'll be seeing some very very funny URLs, RMTP colon double slash something do something another thing do another thing. You understand? But instead of having to go through all those stress, they gave it a simple name: Python for beginners, comment variables, data types, typecasting, IPO. Something very simple, something very readable, something that anybody can just go in and they'll be able to understand that okay, this is what is happening over here. You understand? So basically, that is it. A Python variable is the name given to the memory location where data is stored. You understand? In your computer, your memory locations are something like a computer is binary. You understand? The information you pass in into the computer in the long run is going to be interpreted as binary, and what you receive as a result is going to be as output is also going to be interpreted from binary. So it's basically what the computer understands is binary, 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0 and 1. So your memory location can be something like 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 1, something like that. But they've made it easier for us. You can save it using a simple name like age, a simple name like say class, a simple name number of cars. You understand? A simple name of university. So that is what a variable is. Like um if I say name equal to halogeneous. So name is the variable, halogeneous is the data. Very simple. Name is the variable, halogeneous is the data. You understand? This is the data being stored in memory. Now, the point where this data is stored, the name given to that point is this thing I have over here. So if I want to have access to all I have to do is just to print. So instead of calling halogeneous directly, I can just say name. And if I should run it, you can see I have halogeneous. If I should change this to maybe Charles, guess what? I have Charles. So this is the variable name. This is the data, while this is the variable name. You understand? Very simple as ABC. If I want to write a program, for example, to add two numbers, the two numbers I will predetermine them. X equals to 70 and Y equal to maybe 85. Now, X is a variable name. 70 is data that is existing in computer's memory. Now, that point in the computer memory where 70 is existing is what we refer to as X. Now, 85 is also data that is existing in the computer's memory. So, the name given to that memory location where 85 is stored is what we refer to as what?
Yeah.
Y. So for me
Yeah.
to have access to the two of them, all I have to do, since I want to add, I can just create another variable, z, which is equal to what? X plus y. And since x plus y, this should be 155, is stored in memory location. And that memory location, the name given to it is z. I can just come and print z. And you see, I have my response, 155. Very simple. Very simple. Now, what I have over here that I've done is what we refer to as addition. Now, there is another one. This plus operator over here, it does two things: addition and concatenation. Addition is when you want to add two numbers together, the regular addition that we know. For example, 2 plus 3 is going to be giving me 5. Concatenation is when you want to combine strings together. In your tasks for next week, which is week 2, you are going to be learning more about strings. Strings is a collection of characters. You understand? Collection of characters in the sense that it can be a single character, for example, your grade A, B, C, D, and all that. It can also be a collection of characters as per your name. So if I want to do something like add first name and last name together, I can just do something like this. Also explaining variables. I can say first name equal to, let me say Chris, last name equal to Eze. Then for me to get the full name, all I have to do is to do what we call concatenation here. Now this first name plus last name, print full name. Okay, you can see what I have, Chris Eze. Now, for me to walk around this Chris Eze, I want to throw the question out. What do you feel like I can do to split the Chris and the Eze? What do you think I can do? Don't forget, it is
Uh,
concatenation that I'm doing here. Ehen. Think of something.
you can put comma after the plus and then give a space before last name.
If I do that, that won't work. Let me show you. So what you're asking me
Okay.
to do is to put a comma here, then put a space. Have you?
Yes.
Answer now. This is a, it will give you syntax error. This is not valid syntax. What we can do that will solve this problem over here now. Since I added a string to another string to give me Chris Eze, and space by itself is also a string, what I can do is to bring in another string, space bar.
Oh,
You can see what I have over here now. Very short and
yes,
simple.
sir.
It's not complicated at all. You get, not complicated at all. So now I have this Chris Eze now. So this is addition and this is concatenation. I've shown you. This is something you're supposed to learn next week, but all fine and good. So now, you should know that these variables that we are studying now, it has some rules guarding it. Those rules guarding the naming of variable names. The first one is that your variable cannot start with a number and cannot start with a special character. It must start with an alphabet or an underscore. That is the first rule. I think I explained all the rules in the video. The first rule. Then another rule is that your variable name cannot contain spacebar or any special character. Your variable name can, I think I did three in the video. I can't really remember, but just try to go through the video. I explained the three there. So I think that will be all for variables. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have any questions, let's hear it. Jaira, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
I am.
I'd like to hear that your fine voice. So did you have any questions as regards comments? Variables rather.
Variables. No, sir.
Okay, I guess we can proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay. So the third one is what? Data types. Okay. Data types. So mark down. Now, data types. Every programming language has the provision made for you to manipulate data. We have different kind of data around us that we use every day. For example, we have numbers, we have alphabets, we have words, we have we even have objects. So data types are basically referring to those types of data that Python have made provision for, that you can use to manipulate whatever input data that you want to manipulate. So in programming, we have the provision made for you to manipulate numeric kind of data. Yes, that's what I want to say. The numeric and the non-numeric kind of data. A numeric data is basically a data that is a number. You understand? There's a number. The non-numeric data is a kind of data that is not a number. Now, in Python, data that are numbers, the provision made for them are basically integer, float, and complex. Integer, float, and complex. Now, integers are whole numbers. For example, a popular whole number will be the number of people in a class. You understand? If you buy stick sweet in the whole packet, it is countable. You understand? The number of stick sweet in a packet, it is countable. So if you have, if you buy meat from somebody, you have the number of pieces of meat that you bought. Sure, you get anything that you can count. You represent it as an integer in Python. Anything you can count. For example, let me say the number of students that took a particular exam, um, the number of items that is in your shopping cart, anything at all that you can count. You refer to it as you bring it into Python as an integer. You get now. On the other hand, for floats, it is not all data that you can. It is not all type of data that you can count. Some you can only measure them. You cannot count them. For example, your weight. Can you count your weight? Obviously not. You understand? You cannot count your weight. You can only measure your weight. You understand? Your body mass index, you cannot count it. You can only measure it. You understand? Your height, you cannot count it. You can only measure it. I have a question for you guys. You understand? And you guys can answer in the comment section. You guys should answer in the comment section. So, um, account balance. Should it be represented as an integer or a float? Don't forget, I said an integer is something you can count. But if you cannot count the data but you can measure it, you represent it as a float. So use the comment section to tell me if account balance is supposed to be manipulated as an integer or a float. Let me know in the comment section. An integer or a float. Well, Jerry, are you with us? Okay. Well, moving on. Your account balance
I'm with
is
you, sir.
okay. Your account balance is going to be a float. If you
Float.
check your bank statement, if you check your bank statement, you will see that your account number is not treated as a whole number. It is not treated as a whole number. They will send you the naira, they will send you the kobo. Sorry, please. They'll send you the naira and they will send you the kobo. Okay. So even in dollars, you have the dollars, then you have the cents, $50, 25 cents or something. So your account number is calculated as a float. Now moving on, the for the complex data type, I don't use it, but for those of us that did mathematics in school, we understand complex numbers a bit. So you have the real part and you have the imaginary part, but I don't like doing imaginary things. Fashion Force, I think you are a bit wrong because account balance is actually going to be a float. And Utman, account balance is a float, so please take note. Okay. So now moving on. So we have integers and we have floats, then we have complex for the numeric data type. For the non-numeric data type, we have strings, we have booleans. Those are the two major ones you're going to be using frequently, strings and booleans. So string, like I said before, is a collection of characters. It can be a single character, it can as well be a single character or a collection of characters. For example, a single character, like I cited an example the other time, might be your grade. You took a course and the grade is A, B, C, and all that. Your driving license grade also. Another thing that you will enter the single character string. Let me say I can't think of one right now, so let's just proceed. So now for the collection of characters, we are talking about your address, your name, your address, the name of your laptop, the make of your car, a lot of things like that. So a collection of characters, that is what you refer to as a string. Sure you get. So now moving on, those are the few ones that we're going to be talking about at this point. But later on, as you proceed in the course, you are going to be talking about Python collections. Because all these data types that we are treating here now, they are used to store single data. For example, name. Name can only hold one data. Name can only hold one person's name. But if you want to hold a collection of names or people's names, you're going to be using any of the Python collections. For example, we have the list, we have the tuples, we have the set, and we have the dictionaries too. So these are things you can use to store more than one value. For example, if you want to store multiple names in a particular program, you can the variable name can be something like names equals to a Python list. So you can list out the names. But in this case now, we are dealing with single names, just one person's name at one time. Okay. So um moving on. An example of an integer variable can be, let me say, age equals to say 18. You understand? 18 is the value, age is the data, is the variable name rather. So for float, let me say pi. Pi is 22 over 7 everywhere. 22 over 7. 22 over 7 everywhere is pi. That should be around 3.142. Okay? So, like I told you guys, I don't use complex data type, so we just keep that for now. For the string, a good example of the string can be, let me say, name equal to ADE. Okay, so this is an example of a string, and don't forget, it can also be something like grade equal to maybe E. Understand? These are examples of variables of strings. Then bool. Okay, I didn't explain how booleans work. So booleans, a boolean is a two-state data type. For example, in Unilag, my juniors had to take toxicology tests. Toxicology tests. Let them know if you have been smoking before you came to school. So, or if you have, let me say, foreign elements in your bloodstream. So you go, you take the test. If the test should come out negative, then perhaps you are clean. But if it should come out positive, then you're in trouble. You understand? So you can see how it works, true or false. You understand? Those are the two possible values that you can have, true or false. An example is prime numbers. A number cannot be prime and not prime at the same time. It cannot. You can either be a prime number or you are not a prime number. You understand? True or false. Those are the two possible values a boolean can take. So you can have something like is smoke equal to true. Okay? Is smoke equal to true or false? Is smoke can be a variable to determine if somebody actually used to push. So that is a those are basically the data types that you're going to be working with for now. So the floor is open. If you have any comments, please let me hear. If you have any comments, please, I want to hear them. If you have any questions too, I like to hear them.
All right, sir. Sir, sorry, please. You just told us that the complex you don't like using it, but are there situations where, like, the situations that will warrant them or that may arise that you may want to use the complex?
I've never encountered one before. I've never encountered one before.
Okay, sir. So that means
And
that
and
it.
although I'm coming, please. One thing is
All
that
right.
I'm not the type of person that will condemn something simply because he doesn't like it or he doesn't like using it. There might be
Okay.
some problems that you will encounter, and the proper way to solve it might be for you to resort to complex numbers. You understand?
Sir.
So I don't know. A complex number in mathematics, you arrive at a complex number when you want to find the square root of a negative number. Have you heard of that before? The square
Yes.
root of a negative
Definitely.
number, as you can see.
Mm.
So that is where you come about complex numbers. So you might be
Definitely.
solving a problem, or you want to write an algorithm that you encounter a place where you have to find the square root of a negative number. Then you have to resort to the complex data type. So if there's a way around it using integers and floats, that is what I will want to do most likely, because like it
Definitely.
sounds, it is complex as it sounds. And I know that I stress my head, I beg.
Definitely, sir.
so, well, have I answered your question?
Yes, very well, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Charles, do you have any question? Okay, well, let us. Charles, do you have any
No
question?
question, sir. No, sir.
Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Moving on, we are going to be talking about typecasting. Yes, typecasting. There's no need for us to waste time here. So, typecasting, code markdown. Okay. So this typecasting that we have over here now, like I said on the platform or in the video, I said that typecasting basically is you having to convert from one data type to another. For example, I have age over here and I have pi 3.142. I might be working on an algorithm that will warrant me to convert from this pi from a float to an integer. And if I want to convert pi to an integer, it will truncate this decimal part, this floating point part. It will truncate it. I will have only three. Let's try it out. I said pi equal to 3.142. Okay, so let me say pi equal to int pi. Now print pi. You can see that the initial value of pi is 3.142. But overnight, I did something over here. I typecasted it to an integer. Printing pi now is giving me what? 3 instead of 3.142. But if I should comment this line out, you can see it's giving me 3.142 now that I commented this line out. But if I make the line valid and I run it again, you see I'm having 3. This is a good example of typecasting. Converting from one data type to another. You will encounter so many cases as a programmer where you have to typecast from one data type to the other to make your program work. You understand? We will be doing something like that when we do input process output, where you have to convert from, because by default the input function will accept the value as a string, then you have to typecast to an integer for you to get the actual value of what the user entered in an integer. You understand? Now for you to typecast, we have some constructors that we use to typecast. For you to typecast to a string, we have the str constructor. Str, if you want to typecast to a string, we use the str function, str, to typecast to a string. Then if you want to typecast to a list, to an integer, we use the int function or the int constructor. Float, then for boolean, bool. This is what you're going to be using to do your conversions, your whatsoever. You understand? So now moving forward, let me just open another kernel entirely. Okay. So for this str constructor now, let me say um number equal to 10. Okay. If I say number equal to str number, print number. If I should run this, it's giving me 10 also, but this 10 that is giving me is a string, not an integer anymore. Let me say print type of number. Okay, I didn't close this one. You can see the class is str. You understand? But if I should take this one out and I run it again, the class is integer. So typecasting have occurred over here. For this case now, the number is 10. And if I should print the number directly without typecasting it, it's giving me an integer. So that is without typecasting. But if I should come and typecast to a string now, I'll be getting str instead of int. Do you understand what I did here? Okay. So moving on, we are going to be working on the integer. If for example I have number, let me say x or x equal to say 10. If x is 10 for example, and I say int of x equal to int of x. Okay. Int x. You see, I'm having 10 over here. But this 10 is an integer, not a regular, not the string 10. You understand? Type
Yes, sir.
of, you can see this is an integer, but the original x over here is a string. But typecasting have occurred over here. Typecasting have occurred over here. That is the reason why I'm having the type of x as an integer, not the string that it was originally. So basically, that is what is happening over there. That is how typecasting works in summary. That is how typecasting works. So let me treat this bool function before we move on to the last one. So for this bool function over here, this bool function is what you use to find the truth value of expressions or values. You get, use it to find the truth value, and a truth value can only be true or false. Now, for the following data, empty string zero, empty string zero, an empty list, empty tuple, an empty set, 0.00, none, and false. For all the values over here now, the bool function is going to be returning false for all of them. It's going to be returning false for all of them. Let me give you an illustration. If I should say print the bool value of maybe zero. You see, it's giving me false. If I want the bool value of an empty string, it's giving me false. But if I say maybe it's going to be giving me true because it is not an empty string. You understand? So for now, just get the gist behind it. You will encounter so many cases where this will come in very handy for you, especially when you start working on conditional statements and all that. So if I say I should look for the bool equivalent, the truth value of 0.00 is going to be giving me false. Understand? It might be 0.0 or 0.00. So just take this for now. When you encounter problems where you actually need to use them, you will understand them better. You understand them better. So moving on to the last thing that we have to do today. Before we move on, please, do we have any questions? Before we move on, do we have any questions? Hi, Sandra. If we have any questions, please. The floor is open to ask. Well, let's move on then. So the last thing we have to do today is input process output. Input process output. For short, they call it IPO. IPO. So in secondary school, we were told that a computer is an electronic machine that will first of all accept data. After accepting the data, it will process the data. After processing the data, it will give out a certain output. They didn't tell us that the output that the machine is going to be giving to us is depending on the manufacturer's configuration. For example, if it is an adding machine, then if it's an adding machine and your input is something like 2 and 3, you know that the result is going to be given you is 5 if it is an adding machine. But if it is not an adding machine, if it's like a subtraction machine and you have 2 and 5, if 2 is coming before 5, then obviously you have 2 minus 5. The output to expect is -3, is -3 rather. So that is it. Now, input process output basically is a way for me to show you guys how you can accept input from the user, how you can initiate process, then how you can show output also to the user. Because there's no point you collecting data from the user, and after collecting the data, there's no way for the user to show for you to return output to the user basically. So let's get to work. Now, IPO. Let me just copy what I have here. Let me just copy what I have here. It's going to be a markdown. So for IPO, if you want to accept input from the user, there's this input function that comes by default in Python. That input function is what you're going to be using to accept input from users. For example, and this is how to use it. Input. Then inside the input function, you will have a prompt there. What is this prompt supposed to do? The prompt is what will be displayed to tell the user that we are expecting you to give us information. For example, how old are you? You can put a question mark and put a few spaces. So we can say age equal to input, how old are you? Then you print age. You can see what I'm having over here. How old are you? My age, let me say 12. God forbid. So how old are you? If I say 12, you can see what is giving me over here. 12. The age, input, how old are you? This is the prompt that is telling the user what the user is supposed to give to the program. Now, the reason why this is displaying like this on my end is because I'm using Jupyter Notebook. I think for the next YouTube live that we'll be having, I'm going to be using VS Code. So you know that using Jupyter Notebook, using VS Code, both of them, it's fine and good. So how old are you? Let me say 80. God forbid again. So you can see I've received input from the user, and I've given the user some sort of output. You understand? So you use the input function to accept input from the user. Then you use the print function to show output. You understand? The input function accepts input. The print function shows output. But I need to show you one reason why typecasting is very, very important in this case now. Let us write a basic program that is supposed to accept two numbers from the user. Then the user will add these two numbers together. Let me say x equals to input, enter a number. Okay, let me put some spaces. Y equal to input, enter another number. We put some spaces. Okay, now this is x and this is y. I can say solution equal to x plus y. Then print the solution. I should run this. Enter a number. Let me say 12, 13. So you can see that we are at a crossroad now. So can you tell me what is happening here, Jerry? Can you tell me what is happening here? We are at a crossroad there. We have 12 plus 13, giving us 12, 13, which is very, very improper. Very, very improper. What is happening here is what we refer to as concatenation. What is happening here is what we refer to as concatenation. Because if you look at it very well, it is two numbers coming together, 12 plus 13, giving me 12, 1213. Is the In some cases, It will be a valid answer if we were doing concatenation, but we are not doing concatenation. What we are doing is addition. How do we rectify this? We typecast. If you take a good look at this, concatenation can only occur if the two operands, which are the numbers, the values that you want to add together, if the two of them that you are using the plus operator on, if both of them are strings, you can concatenate them. For example, what we did here. For example, what we did here. Where is it? What we did here. Yes, this is concatenation over here. This is a string. This is another string. Then this is also a string. You can concatenate the three of them together. But guess what? If you want to add this one together, you have to typecast first before you can add. How can you typecast? You can say int x plus int y. If I should run this and I say 12 and I say 13, you see, I'm getting the correct answer, which is 25, because I've done my typecasting. Very easy to do. If I don't want to do the typecasting at this point, one thing I can do is I can say x equal to int x and y equal to int y. Okay? If I should run this, 12, 13, I'm getting my 25. I'm getting my 25. So you see what I'm having over here now. One reason why typecasting is very, very important. By default, if you bring in data from the console to Python, by default, it's going to be giving you a string. It's going to be giving you a string. So for the data to be useful as a numeric data, you have to typecast to either float or integer or as the case may be. You understand? So that is it basically. Any questions, please?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, please ask.
Okay, we know 13 and 12 to be integers naturally. So my
Exactly.
question is, why does the input function accept 13 and 12 as strings?
Okay. Um, One thing you should know is that, well, I hate to say it, but Python is not smart enough to know that this is an integer or this is a string or this is a float. By default, the people that invented Python, by default, what they wrote there is this input function always returns a string no matter the value that you pass into it. That input function, let me highlight it. This input function over here, this function over here, it will always return a string. If the data you want to work with by default is a string, for example, name, address, phone number, and whatsoever, if it is a string by default, we are safe. But if it is not a string by default, you have to typecast first before the data will be useful. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jerry, got any question? Well,
Clear,
I
sir.
guess not. Okay, okay, okay. So, well, I was thinking that more people will join the stream, but I know that many people will still watch the replay of the broadcast. So I know that many people will still watch the replay of the broadcast. And well, if you still have any questions, please, the comment section is always open. Just go there, drop your questions. I'll respond to it as soon as I see it. So thank you very much. Well, see you in the next video and next stream. So bye for now. Take care of
Thank you
yourself.
so much, sir. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.